Hey, what's up guys, and welcome to another Arc Garage video. I have another problem with my Alfa Giulietta. The boot or trunk doesn't want to open whether I press the button on the key or the button on the trunk. So today I'm gonna show you how to diagnose the issue, how you can figure out whether it's the wiring loom or the lock itself, and I'm gonna show you how to fix it. As you can see right here, when I press the button, I'm getting the signal from the indicators. However, the boot doesn't open. Even if I try to press on the badge, nothing happens. I'm gonna open the trunk manually. You got this button right here, you just press it and the boot will open. To get to the lock, I gotta remove this trim, and firstly we got these two Phillips screws under each handle. You can see the one right there, and we got one more on the left side. I'm also gonna remove this access hatch for the tail lights, just to make sure that there are no screws holding the trim beneath it, and there are none. So I'm gonna start by removing these two Phillips screws. Now I can start removing the trim. I'm gonna start from this corner right here, and I'm gonna work my way around. I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. There it is. And I'm just gonna pull it down. Here's the better look of the trim. You got three of these plastic clips on the right side, and you got three more on the left, and you got two more on each corner, but they are stuck in the boot lid. Here's the better look of the lock. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna undo this connector right here. You got one plastic clip on the right side, so I'm just gonna press on it and pull the connector out. Alright, let's get on with the diagnosis of the issue, and for that I'm gonna use my test light. I'm just gonna clip it onto the screw so I got the good ground. Next I'm gonna check if I got any power in these wires. Now, just to be clear, I should have at least one 12-volt constant wire, and I should have one signal wire. So there's our constant wire right there. Next, I'm gonna grab my key. I'm gonna keep pressing onto the button, and I'm gonna see where's my signal wire. Now, if I got the signal wire and the 12-volt constant and my ground is good, that's gonna mean that the lock itself is faulty. So I'm still not getting the signal wire. Alright, so we are essentially missing the signal wire. So we are either gonna have issue with the wiring or with the fuse or something like that. First thing that I'm gonna check is of course gonna be the wiring loom. You can see that this one has been previously repaired, so I'm looking for the wires that I've seen on the connector for the lock. So we got purple wire right here, and here's the purple wire on the wiring loom, and I basically just pulled it out. You can see that it snapped off, so that's gonna be our issue, or at least part of it. The next thing that I'm gonna do, I'm gonna inspect the rest of the wires, and I'm gonna make sure that they are okay. Alright, just to show you what I was testing with my test light, I'm gonna grab this wire right here. I'm gonna put my test light on it, and now when I hit the button, you can see that we are getting 12 volts for a couple of seconds. The next thing that I'm gonna do, I'm gonna remove this additionally added black piece of wire. I'm gonna put another piece of wire in its place. I'm gonna solder it to this purple wire which I hold in my left hand. Then I'm gonna guide that wire through the rubber boot, and I'm gonna solder the other end to the purple wire on the top. I've also inspected the rest of the wires. They all look good, so I'm not gonna mess with them. Guiding the wire through this rubber boot can be a bit tricky, so I'm gonna use this piece of steel wire. I'm gonna push it through. Just be careful not to damage any of the other wires. Now when I push my steel wire through the other side, I'm gonna secure my new wire with some zip ties. You can also use insulating tape or something like that. And then I'm just gonna pull the wire to the other side. Alright, there it is. So I'm gonna remove the zip ties and the insulation, and I'm gonna solder my new wire to the purple wire on the top. Lastly, I'm just gonna use some of this fabric tape to protect the wires as much as I can. Now while I'm here, I'm also going to remove the lock. I'm just gonna clean it and lubricate it, and I'm gonna put it back. As you can see, it's basically held in place just by these two 10mm screws. So I'm just gonna undo them and pull the lock out. Alright, let's check out if the trunk works. And there you go, the trunk works perfectly. Just to sum it up, grab a test light, test the connector. You should have one 12-volt constant wire, one signal wire, and you gotta have a good ground. You can test that either with a multimeter, or you can just pull out the rubber boot from the left side wiring loom, and you should inspect the wires visually. If everything checks out, the lock is going to be faulty. Anyway, that would be all for this video. I hope you find it useful. If you did, hit that like button and support our channel by subscribing.